This is Dylan for All Seasons. I'm Dan.
I'm Ben.
Episode 44. You brought it up with the Iran and Israel conflict, and I keep thinking about it. I've been thinking about it since we last spoke last week, which is like Twitter was fun again.
Yeah,
It's just like, man, I just got to be on here scrolling because
yeah. Sometimes it's fun. You know, it's especially fun. Iranian military Twitter. I don't know if they're official accounts or what it is, but like,
yeah,
there's like, like Iran military pages. Whatever fucking Zoomers they have working those, they are edgelords, and to the best degree, they are fantastic.
yeah. It's kind of like hilarious because the names are like semi-official names. It's like Iran
Yeah,
Defense.ir or something. You're like, man, is this an
yeah,
official account? Like, is this the?
yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh shit, it's really Khomeini. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, like he does have a real account.
Oh yeah, you saw those resurfaced tweets from him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those are awesome.
Someone said he's the only person whose old tweets resurfaced who didn't get canceled.
No, he got uncanceled.
He got uncanceled. Yeah.
It's like, wait, this guy's lovely. Yeah, he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like things of him like planting a flower and like talking about how we need to take care of women and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, I mean, between that and then also like Iranian Twitter of whether it's like Iranian citizens or like these official Twitter things, like at least they're legitimately funny when they're talking about like bombing campaigns and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because we've been so desensitized by what Israel has exacted upon the world and the Palestinian people specifically, that like any kind, it's nice to have a little bit of Schadenfreude, right? Like we talked
Yeah.
about before. Like it's nice to see some comeuppance. It's very fun to see the difference of like who's more humanizing in this, like Ayatollah Khomeini and the Iranian people, or the fucking freaks uh in Israel who are to this day like doing like have you seen Israeli like TikTok comedy from them, which is just
Yeah.
specifically just sadistically mocking like women being murdered and shit? Like there's no good Israeli comedy.
Yeah, no, I think you shared something like a reel or something about it earlier this week, and I was thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? I hate to generalize. I don't think any people are a monolith, but man, if I see on a lot of short form content of Israelis like dressing up as Palestinians, like coloring out their teeth and stuff like that, just really
Yeah.
mocking them, and then murdering
Really, yeah.
them being
And
murdered.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, and really, really crude and really like first of all, I mean, this isn't the most important part, but like really not funny, like really not
Yeah.
following. I don't think any kind of comedy. That's why you don't see like good alt-right comedy, or like there's never been a great like I don't know, fucking neo-Nazi comedian, because something that's so steeped in just pure hatred is by definition never going to be funny, and that's probably where it is. But like other kinds of Israeli, like when you've seen Israeli comedians even not talking about how much they love children being murdered or women being raped, it's still not funny. Probably because when you live in a society that's absolutely just built on hate and bloodlust and white supremacy and conquest, what the fuck do you have to joke about?
Yeah, it's the definition of punching down.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing in the United States. I mean, the tradition of Jewish comedy is like integral to like the history of comedy in the United States. It's like
Yeah.
it's a positive stereotype that I think exists for very real reasons. Some of the funniest people in America now, and I'm not talking about Jerry Seinfeld, but like now, and since all through the history of Hollywood theater, going way back, is Jewish comedy.
I'm
It's very, very funny. And
I'm
it's
legit
also,
excited for Spaceballs too.
of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it probably will be disappointing, but like I grew up on Mel Brooks.
Yeah,
Like
of
Mel
course.
Brooks was
Yeah.
like integral to my childhood. And so like American Jews are just I grew up just knowing them as like the funniest people.
Mel Brooks is like
Uh
an openly Jewish comic too. Like he makes no like it's a thin veil, I'd say. Like I don't think he ever like comes out and says like I'm Jewish, right? But like all
What are you
the
talking about? He never he everything he does everything he does bleeds Jewishness.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's
He
all
never shuts the fuck
caricature.
up about it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Schwartz, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's all about that. But like
Yeah.
that's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny because it's coming, and Larry David like embodies that too. It's
Yeah.
coming from not that the Jews are like not in, the last many decades in the United States what I call the Jewish people an oppressed class. They were at one time, not in our lifetime. But they're like that kind of Mel Brooks, Larry David comedy like comes from this like lower status place
Did you ever
where
watch?
you're the yuts, right? Israeli comedy can never do that because why would it be funny to hear someone talk about how they're the Ubermensch?
Yeah, I mean, like they're not related at all.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite, is what you're saying.
When
Yeah.
it's like, remember this was, I mean, early days of this genocide, there was some stuff coming out of like, I guess like Israel's SNL, their shitty sketch comedy. So there was like some sketches that they did, like it's their Saturday Night Live in Israel, and some of those sketches like not surface, but like just we became aware of them in the West, and I was watching them and it was just like, what the fuck is this? It was just like Israelis being like, be like, I'm a gay college student. I love Hamas.
Oh, I saw
Haha.
those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, got him. Those
Yeah.
faggy college kids.
Speaking of, I want to talk about people being got, and I've been dying to talk about this, but the Ted Cruz interview. I really just want to dedicate the whole episode to that. Tell me you watched it.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, thank God. Okay, great. I
Yeah,
actually haven't finished it. I'm just at the he's grilling him on Ukraine and Russia, but we'll get there.
yeah, that's towards the end, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think I have like
Um,
20 minutes left. Can I kick it off? Just because you'll like
yeah,
this. The most ridiculous thing about that whole interview, and there's so many good moments, but they're in Ted Cruz's office, and he has that fucking Ronald Reagan Berlin Wall portrait
yeah,
oil painting in the
the
back.
the mural. Uh, all the Ronald Reagan shit is so old hat at this point. I'm
Yeah,
who's this for? Like, does
yeah.
anybody believe
He's
this anymore?
obsessed.
Yeah,
I forgot that that kind of Republican existed.
it's such a bygone thing. Like, because being obsessed with Reagan, I really don't feel like is compatible with MAGA.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess it is, but like MAGA people don't talk about Reagan. No one cares. It's like talking about like before Christ. Like Trump is Jesus, and
yeah.
anything before him doesn't matter. So I don't know why they bring that shit up. I guess it's they got to appeal to the older people, but
Well, I mean, in that interview, he really focuses on Reagan's peace through strength, foreign policy, which is what I'd
yeah.
like to get into.
I don't know. So basic gut reactions, I guess. This has been huge, like hugely viral. Like I actually can't think of the last time like an interview like this has gone viral in the way that this did. Left, right, center, it was everywhere. Everyone was posting about it. It was all over Twitter, all over Instagram. It was interesting because, like, for anybody who pays attention, Ted Cruz didn't say anything that we didn't already know implicitly. I think what was interesting was that he was forced to say it. And I think also the most interesting thing was to watch Tucker Carlson interview a politician the way they should be interviewed every time
Yeah.
and never are. I mean, it was more in the style of what you see over here in the UK, of that more combative
Yeah.
interview style, which you never expect to see in the United States. And you certainly don't expect a conservative journalist interviewing a Republican senator and being that combative. That was the general thing. And then, of course, if we get into the meat of it, there was some amazing things that came out in there. I think probably the most amazing thing to me was having someone of Tucker Carlson's status point blank get into what is AIPAC, why are you shilling for AIPAC, and like just basically like having a journalist actually say on air, AIPAC is for Israeli interests, it's not American interests, and it's not America first. Why are you taking their money? Like, I don't think that's ever
Yeah.
been done.
It was amazing because Tucker's, and I think he says this explicitly, sympathetic to AIPAC and certainly Israel. The route. So it was like it put Ted Cruz in I think probably a weak position because he was in what he thought was going to be a friendly interview.
People always talk about like everyone hates Ted Cruz. We know this, right?
Yeah.
Like not just people on the left, like famously, like everybody in Washington fucking despises that guy, Republicans as well, which is pretty easy to imagine, right?
He's
He
so
doesn't
hateable. Yeah.
he doesn't seem like a particularly pleasant person. But everybody fucking hates that slimy fuck. The other thing for me was I was caught off guard by how caught off guard he was because
Yeah.
like because everyone's like, oh yeah, he's a slimy piece of shit, but he's so smart. He's so smart. He did not come off smart in
And
that
he
interview.
probably thinks in those moments he's good. That's what when I was watching, I was like, oh, Ted probably thinks he's killing it right now.
He looked like a stuttering fucking idiot. It was incredible. It was admission after admission after admission. He was like playing right and like I don't know, Tucker's smooth like that. I will give him
Yeah,
that. You really see why that guy was getting paid the big bucks and
totally.
was the biggest show on television for so
Yeah.
long. Whatever you think about him, you see why he had it because that guy is a fucking world-class hatchet, man. And it is, if you're on his side, if you're agreeing with him, like I was, and I think many people were watching that interview, even many people on the left, it is so fun.
I
It
don't think
is
I've
so
ever
fun because nobody on the left has ever done anything like it.
I honestly don't think I've ever seen someone get so dismantled.
Yeah.
It was wild.
And easily too, easily. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like, and he wasn't doing it with, people like Mehdi Hassan really prides himself on this. And I guess he's good at it because he's good at talking fast and remembering facts and stuff. Like, I don't want to take anything away from him in that regard. But like Tucker did it like about as simply as you could, where he wasn't throwing a lot of facts at Ted Cruz. He was
Yeah,
just letting him dig his own grave and
yeah.
going, wait, what? You get seriously, and then doing his little hyena laugh, which again, when you're on Tucker's side, is super fun. I was giggling my ass off watching it. It was amazing.
And watching it is such a different story too. Before we got on, I was watching on my phone, but I had just been listening to it and watching in the like the cinematography, if you will, them going back and forth and the way, again, watching it versus listening to it just added so much. It's a well shot interview. And he gets called out by Ted, and I think legitimately he's snarky, right? But again, if you're on his side, you're just loving it.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
he's so good. He's so good at bullying, and he does it in the most like East Coast old money,
yeah.
waspy, annoying ass hyena kind of laugh thing. And again, if it was Tucker talking to somebody about I don't know, Black Lives Matter or immigration or something, I'd probably be very mad at Tucker. But in this regard, again, I was like, fuck yeah, I can't get enough of this.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from, it felt ideological, right? And that's why I wanted to talk about this piece through strength that Ted keeps chest beating about throughout the whole interview. And Reagan's piece through strength, and that's how he views foreign policy. Yeah, I mean, it just felt like Tucker was representing, I guess, what you'd call skepticism. It's amazing because he was such, when we were growing up, he was such an Iraq War proponent.
Yeah,
Remember? And I mean, he wore the bow tie, and Jon Stewart and him famously had that debate. And
yeah.
Carlson was basically just, in my mind, a piece of shit. And then he was on Fox, and I'd say 90% of the time he was a piece of shit. I disagreed with him. He had a few anti-war moments. I think he stuck up for Assange, maybe. But anyways, I just like Ted Cruz tries to define him, tries to get Tucker to define his foreign policy throughout the interview. And Tucker, I think his responses are great. He's like, I don't, basically, he said he's non-ideological, unless it's America first or whatever, right?
Well, yeah, they're both, that's kind of the interesting thing about like the subtext of this debate interview. These two guys who are both like trying to say, define what is America first and what isn't. And both of them are saying they're America first. And of course, neither of them are willing to say anything bad about Donald Trump in this, because obviously if you say anything bad about Donald Trump, you're out of the club, and no one wants to do that. That's a glaring thing that we've seen from everybody on the right who's been, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did her whole Twitter post about it, which I appreciated, but like she didn't say anything about Trump. Thomas Massey's putting forward legislation, right? No one's willing to go, to step to the king on that sort of thing. But that there was that weird subtext of that going on of like who's really America first and what is America first, and like neither are from like an actual like peacenik ideology or
Yeah.
a left-wing ideology. Yeah, I just happen to agree with Tucker's take on it, which is like Tucker's coming from like a right-wing realpolitik thing of like, look, we tried this before. And he's done his mea culpa, by the way, for Iraq
Yeah.
and Afghanistan. He said for however you want to take that. I don't really care. I think just to digress for a second, I saw a lot of people on the left, like friends of mine, when I'd like shared the, clips from the interview. I'm like, huh, this is hilarious. And they're like, Tucker Carlson's a piece of shit. I don't care. It's like, okay, well, take the W sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun to watch Ted Cruz eat shit. I don't care
Yeah.
if it comes from Tucker Carlson.
Sometimes.
Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
an
All
enemy
the
of my
time.
enemy is my friend. So this is something that I would suggest to anybody on the left is like, you know, learn to make strange bedfellows when it suits you.
Hey, I also like good entertainment.
Life will be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like if you see any accounts talking about, oh, well, Tucker's saying that we shouldn't go to war with Iran, but may I remind you that he's a white supremacist. That's the CIA or the FBI. Like, don't trust it. That's a psyop. Do not
Yeah.
trust these people.
Yeah.
Anybody who's trying to sow division like this to get away from the big picture, it's like we need whatever big voices can be there to speak up against this. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Those voices need to be there. And if the only place they're coming from is the far right fringe, then whatever. Tucker has a lot more sway than any fucking left-wing podcaster does or ever will. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene holds a lot more sway than anybody on CNN or MSNBC for a lot of America. So their words mean something. And if they're doing that, like, yes, they're not doing it exactly in the way I'd like to, and they're not that doesn't mean I have to like co-sign every other opinion they have, but take the W where you find it.
If you're on the left, you should be rooting for MAGA to split. It's the only
Yeah.
way that you're going to be able to break what is basically right now total control. They've won the
The
ideological war. They obviously have all three
yeah.
levels of the government. Yeah.
Yeah, the Democrats are like hell bent on never changing anything about what they do ever. So the best chance for anybody, any lib actually, is for MAGA to cannibalize itself, which it looks like
Yeah.
it might.
Yeah. I mean, like Steve Bannon has really, I want to say, been good on this issue, but
The hard thing is, though, and I don't want to talk about this too much because we've talked about it before, but
yeah.
the hard thing about it is, like, to my point, that, neither of them were doing anything but saying how much they suck Trump's dick during the interview and fighting over
Yeah.
who sucks his dick better. Even as MAGA cannibalizes itself, like, Donald Trump can do no wrong for any of these people because he's the kingmaker. So, like, it kind of doesn't matter. So I don't really know what that looks like if
Yeah,
MAGA actually,
I was wondering the result of this interview. I'm sure Cruz will be around. He'll keep his office. And probably
he'll be
Tucker just
around.
got, just more brand awareness. Big brand push
Yeah,
for him.
yeah,
But whatever, I'll take the
but
win.
yeah, I'll take the win. If it did some good things, I think is first and foremost was shine a light on APAC specifically, like foreign lobbying in general, but specifically APAC, because like, I don't know, like Cruz even tried to qualify it, that there's all kinds of foreign lobbying. And it's like, well, yeah, you know what? I know that like fucking Spain and Belgium have foreign lobbyists in the United States. They've never gotten us into a war that I'm aware of.
Yeah, how many times
So
have they been in front of Congress?
yeah, so who gives a fuck? Yeah, yeah, like yeah, they don't have everyone standing and applauding them in Congress. So like I reject that. But if this got more people aware of and angry at AIPAC and its influence, good. If this got more people aware of and angry at the theological, evangelical, fucking fanatical obsession with Israel that guides American foreign policy by lawmakers. I think that's a good thing. And also, if it just shined a light on how kind of belligerent and blindly these people are to get into any war possible all the time, no matter
No.
what, I think it's a good thing. It's a net positive that this happened.
I do think that if, I guess it depends on the severity in which we would go into Iran, it could split MAGA. Because as I think we talked about this, I don't know if it was here or where we talked about it, like it is Iraq War 2.0.
Yeah, but a
It's
thousand
it's
times
it's the
worse.
same actors,
Yeah.
the same fervor,
Well, and the same
not
playbook
the
to
same amount of
apply.
patriotism though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that that's the thing where it really does feel like American fascism in a new level. Like at least we had 9/11 before, so people
They had the
had a level
pretext.
of yeah,
It's the
people well
Reichstag, right?
and the American public had a level of bloodlust and need for revenge. No one has that for Iran. I mean, it's being manufactured, but like, how many fucking like female influencers are gonna will it take to be like women have to wear scarves so it can turn into a hijab if
Right,
the
right.
mullahs come around the corner or whatever, like, I don't know, like, how much propaganda would it possibly take to make people actually have a visceral hatred for Iran? I just don't think it's there, first of all. And also, anybody our age or older lived through all this shit. And it's just like, practically speaking, I don't care how racist towards Muslims or Arabs or brown people in general you are, most people like just don't want to do this again. Why
Yeah. As
would you? It was we just got out. We just got out a couple years ago, and that was a disaster.
far as I know, we're still in Iraq. Was
Yeah,
there a
probably.
withdrawal?
No. Yeah, yeah. We got out of Afghanistan. Yeah, that's correct.
Which Ted Cruz cites as one of the pretexts for Putin to invade Ukraine.
Yeah, well, I forget a little bit about what all happened in the latter part of the interview where they were
There's
talking about.
there's such a good highly suggest people to just listen to it, but I'll talk about this one part just because Russia
Yeah,
Ukraine has always been such a focus of mine. But um, Ted Cruz is explaining to Tucker the reasons for Putin's invasion, right? He's giving the events leading up to that invasion, right?
right.
And he mentions Russia taking Crimea in 2014. And then he moves on to 2015, and Tucker goes, "Wasn't there something else happened in 2014?" He wanted to completely bypass the coup.
Yeah.
Insane. Insane. Yeah, I mean, Ted Cruz really looks shallow.
He
Intellectually
really
shallow. Yeah.
he really shit the bed on this. Again, it's just like I really came away from this going, God, this guy's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like this is your whole career as being a war hawk. And honestly, like if you were dealing with like an Obama type person would be able to like bob and weave from these questions and make a like intelligible answer of why we should do these things. But like Ted Cruz had nothing. It was really embarrassing to watch him
He's gonna be like
do this.
blindly ideological. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
so passionate that he's just let it cloud his vision. It's
Yeah.
insane. I
Well,
mean, I guess,
yeah,
the guy
like
has a fucking oil painting of Reagan in the Berlin Wall in the back of
yeah.
his office. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, and also, well, I mean, a great one that was going viral, which was one of the funniest moments, was when he was citing scripture, um, and citing scripture, of like, he who blesses Israel is blessed or whatever,
Yeah.
and he who curses Israel is cursed. And that was a particularly funny thing, especially with him dealing with Tucker, who is another guy who never shuts the fuck up about being a Christian.
Yeah.
And Tucker being like, where in the Bible is that? He's like, I don't know exactly. He's like, it's in Genesis. Anyway, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was so
He's like,
good. Also, by the way,
blessed. Yeah.
I've never read the Bible, but Genesis is the first chapter.
Yeah.
Like you don't know, like it's not even like a
Yeah.
deep cut. Like
Yeah.
you didn't know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. It
Fucking
is like, by
embarrassing.
blessed are the people of Israel, does he mean blessed Netanyahu's government of Israel?
Yeah.
Oh man. It was
Yeah,
brilliant.
and he's like the nate, and he gets so flustered, and he's like, no, it doesn't mean that. It means the nation of Israel. And it was also like, again, I'm not a fucking theologian, but like, no, it does not. Like the nation, like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they didn't have st like city states in biblical times in the way that we conceive of them now. Fucking embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing.
I was laughing. I want to talk about the socialism or the communism and Batista slip up, but what was your
Oh
favorite
yeah.
ad?
This is something so funny of
I'm thinking about
City
getting
and
that gun.
City and I were watching this interview like on our TV, and we're like getting hyped up as we're watching each time because we're like, do we love Tucker? Yeah, fucking Tucker rules. Like, maybe have we changed? And then it goes to a commercial break where he does like one of his ads, and the ad is always like, do you love and want to be like Kyle Rittenhouse? Well, then you need to buy this. And it was like, oh yeah, right. Never mind. We don't
Yeah.
like Tucker.
What was the university? Do you remember
Oh
one?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like it's the pro-capitalism university is all I can remember about it.
Yeah, because there aren't enough of those.
Yeah. I think there was that one and then one
Yeah,
about buying gold, I think. Or, no, it was
yeah, there's
crypto. It
always
was crypto? It was
there
like
was a
a crypto
gold. No, there's always
401k.
there's a gold. I feel like Tucker's a little too old school to like go fully into crypto, but like investing in gold, that's him. So he had the gold, he had the and then the gun.
Yeah. It shoots tear gas rounds, so it sounds like it's a way for you to avoid having to get like a FOIA card, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Can be delivered right to
Yeah.
your door.
Yeah, he's like, anyone can buy it, no background check. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I want that gun.
The Batista slip up with, he's like, I hate communism. That's why my parents fled Cuba. Actually, my dad was tortured under a Batista. Oh man.
Yeah, I love that. Well, he's like, I hate the communists. My father was imprisoned and tortured. Well, that was by Batista, but my aunt was tortured by the communists. And it was like, pick up fucking lane. I mean, that's an old one that comes up a lot, especially with like Miami Cubans, you know.
Yeah.
There's two possibilities to that. It's like, oh yeah, my grandfather was tortured by by the regime there. And it was like, okay, was it the Batista regime? Or there's, the other thing that's more likely to hear from Cuban expats in Miami where they're like, we had to flee the communist regime. And it's like, why? Was your family doing really, really bad things when Castro took over?
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
you
All these
guys,
land
I don't,
appropriation laws.
yeah, yeah. It was like, were you guys basically slave owners and you had to run away? I'm sorry. Sorry to hear
Uh,
that, bro.
man, that reminds me. We need to check in on the
Like
African.
Meyer Lansky being like, they took away my casino. It was a small business.
No, yeah, I want to check in on the Afrikaners for their next episode. They
Yeah,
really could be like a reality show for that.
I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
Should, well, I don't know. They lost their steam now because we don't have to dwell on this, but yeah, they lost their steam because Elon
We've
Musk
done
is
this.
out. So yeah, none of what Ted Cruz was saying was revealing if you know the history of Ted Cruz, but it was revealing in the way that he said it so bluntly, which is
Yeah.
like, and I don't think it was the way that some people like Greenwald kind of talked about this, and I don't necessarily agree that he was like that he was willingly just saying this stuff so openly. I think he was saying it because he's dumb and he was flustered and
Yeah.
he was trying to hide it, but he wasn't, but he's not good at it.
You think?
Uh, which was like, which is surprising. It was like, you were like very close to being president and you suck. You suck
Yeah.
at this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the bar is so fucking low.
Well, like we said, like
But
he has no defenders, so like I don't know how he gets elected, but there
yeah,
you know how you could
I
defend
actually,
that performance.
yeah, again, I don't know why he's been around for as long as he has in Texas. It's like there's got to be like 500 guys that could have the exact same opinions as him in Texas
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
more like palatable, like, yeah, Texas guys. Like, why do you guys settle for that fucking like sniveling worm? Um, but yeah, I think
Oh,
I don't know. Again, going back to the thing of people who are like, wrong messenger, like are mad about it because like you don't want to be happy about anything Tucker Carlson does. I do think like what happened was legitimately groundbreaking and important in that like Tucker like broke the mold in a little way and like kind
Yeah.
of put the rest of the media class to shame by conducting that interview. He showed that it can be done, showed that these people will break pretty fucking easy, and shows you exactly where their loyalties are, which is in like, the places we know they are. But I think there was I think what he did was legitimately special.
Yeah, I think to be mad about this is very blue sky. Like
Yeah.
you got to be a purist if you are so committed to hating Tucker Carlson here. I think
What's
it,
the point? What good does it do? What
yeah,
good does it do? Again,
yeah.
first of all, take the W. This is why libs are one of many reasons why libs are always going to lose is because yeah, you have these purity tests for everything.
Actually, it's more like a centrist purity test too. Like I think people on the actual left loved watching this. I think if you're, I don't know, like a
Yeah, yeah.
positive
No,
America
this is what
like
I'm talking
listener,
about.
yeah, yeah,
No, I'm talking Democratic voters. And
yeah,
it's like, hey, like take a page out of the evangelical book. Like they hold their noses and vote for whoever, and look
yeah,
where abortion rights are in the country. Like they are succeeding
yeah,
in getting their one little crazy bit of legislation done. And you know
yeah,
how they do it? They do it by working with people they absolutely despise and
yeah,
think are and actively believe are going to hell. If they can do
yeah,
it, you can. If
yeah.
they can do it, you can. It's not that hard.
I want to get back to Iran and Israel real quick. Is there anybody on Twitter that you've been following specifically for the news, or are you just doom scrolling?
Not really. I don't know if you've found this, but I'm finding it very, and this isn't surprising, but like I'm finding it quite difficult to see any sort of reliable real-time information.
Yeah, I
And I'm
followed.
not I'm
Go
not
ahead.
following it really voraciously, but like I feel like there's a lot of covering up about like I have a hard time seeing like what the extent of damage in Tel Aviv actually is. I think like it seems the Iranian government is much more candid about like what kind of damages they're taking, what kind of losses they're taking than
Yeah,
Israel is, which is unsurprising.
I think it is prohibited in Israel to
Yeah,
film.
it is. It's
Yeah,
being yeah.
yeah. I think like some German TV crew got I don't know arrested. I don't know what happened, right? But
Yeah.
the reason I brought this up is like I've been following. Unfortunately, fucking is it Jackson Hinkle, like the annoying one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's been. I
Dumb name, by the way.
got to be a psyop, right? I know we've talked about this before, but
Yeah.
anyways, he's been posting a lot of videos, and then like again, it's so base what you end up following. Like I'm following the missile strikes. I'm curious to see the damage that's happening. Like the negotiations are kind of like a back burner to me. I'm just looking for the missile strike videos.
Well, yeah, because you want to see that shit.
No, I mean, again, I told you it's
You want to see
base,
that shit.
like
It's fun to watch.
yeah.
But I just like, yeah, I want to see that shit burn.
I
Also,
mean,
like what negotiations?
yeah. This is what it's been so weird. So they met Arachi, I think is his name, the Iran's foreign minister, like David Lammy and whatever French and German representatives are in Europe. I think they met to try to do what, right? And I mean, Trump called it. He's like, Iran doesn't want to meet with Europe. They want to meet with the US. What is Europe going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, not I mean what the US tells them to.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they can't stop Israel, clearly,
Yeah.
and they're not going to
What
stop Iran.
what was the response of all of them? I mean,
That you're at fault.
what's what's
Like, that's
yeah,
what they
what's
said to the
what's
G7.
Yeah, what's going on right now is so depressing because, everything's obvious already after it already happens, right? Like whatever
Yeah.
happens is the obvious thing. And this like going to war with Iran is the most obvious thing. This genocide was always going to lead to this because what was it a couple weeks ago? It was looking like the levee was really breaking and public opinion was just really, really fully souring on Israel, and it was looking like there might be some kind of breaking point where like
Yeah.
the European ministers were starting to find it intolerable. And then, you know, what happens? Israel bombs Iran. Iran has to respond. They have to. They respond. And then what does every fucking European government do? Israel has the right to defend itself. And now we're back at fucking stage one. And now, like I said in our last episode, like, what are we not talking about right now? Like,
Yeah.
we're not talking about the genocide in Palestine, which is
Yeah.
absolutely still happening right now.
Well,
They're killing hundreds a day.
the good news, and again, like since I follow Jackson Hinkle and this other guy named Adam, I think it's Adam Media, and he's been very good, but also showing alongside these missile strike videos, the continued genocide in Palestine.
Yeah.
I don't even like, speaking of genocide, I don't even call it that. I think mass murder is works enough. I mean, genocide's fine, calls that as well, but I
I
hate
think I'd call
the
it a
stigma.
Holocaust at this point.
Yeah. I hate the stigma that has been brought around genocide. You know what I mean? Like what was that Onion headlines like society debating whether calling it a genocide or not shows sign of a healthy society or something like that.
Yeah,
It's so depressing. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely steered attention away, probably purposefully.
I think so.
Well, I just want to talk about that Ted Cruz interview. No, I mean like
Well,
I don't have much else. I know it feels like we covered things have kind of slowed down in a weird way. We covered all
yeah.
in the last episode.
Well, we're all kind of just waiting to see. We're right where Trump likes us all to be, where we're just kind of waiting to see what he does next.
Yeah, yeah, the finale is in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, Trump. Yeah, Trump said to give him 2 weeks. Like, I fucking hate being alive. Like this, this fucking sucks. This sucks so much. When like he was in an interview. What was it earlier this week? And he's like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. It was like, what is this drag race? Like, who knows
Did you see
what
that
will happen?
did you see that Cy Hirsch published an article saying that the bombing is going to happen this weekend?
Oh, so it is going to happen. I didn't. I did not see that, but I mean,
Yeah.
Hirsch usually hits. But there have been reports today about like B-2s,
B-52s, yeah.
being sent out. So fucking great. I don't know. This fucking sucks. I hate this. Like,
Yeah, I think it is triggering because it does feel like Iraq. It's 2003 all over again.
yeah, it's just it without any kind of self-righteous bloodlust that the
Yeah.
Americans had before. Now it's just this sort of we're all living with this like sort of acquiescence where we've just watched a televised genocide for 20 months and we're like, well, I guess this may as well happen. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like that. Like this the state of mind going into this is I mean, people call Trump what postmodern, and it really does feel like that is the time we live in.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, no, it's not great.
Thanks for listening. This has been Villain for All Seasons. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'll see you soon.